scale when talking about government spending. You're not hearing? Better? All right. You hear me in the back? Okay. Well, good. You didn't hear me say I'm going to depress you, but I will anyhow. You know that we spend a little bit of money through our government these days. What you may not know is the last time that government spending in America went down from 1 year to the next was 2 years before I was born. And if you're trying to figure out when that was, I'll give you 2 clues. It was the same year that Elvis Presley recorded his first single. Dwight Eisenhower was President of the United States. Spending has never gone down once since then. And you all talk about the $16 trillion debt that we have, but if you actually include the commitments we have made, the unfunded liabilities, the real debt that nobody wants to talk about is more than $100 trillion. That is the problem that our nation is grappling with today. And the reason we have this problem is not just because of one president or one Congress. It goes all the way back to the 1960s. Lyndon Johnson and Richard Nixon gave benefits for their constituents and set it up so that some future generation would pay the cost. And we are that future generation. And just to be clear, it wasn't an accident. When they put together projections for the programs in the 1960s, they said the long-term numbers are in balance. And the way they got there was they stopped the projections when the baby boomers were set to retire. They simply pretended that would not happen. There's another myth that goes on about spending, and that it's the problem is the voters. They don't want to cut spending. They like the idea in general, but not specific. When we ask voters, what can the government do to help the U.S. economy, 67% say cut spending. That is what will help the economy. If we ask about a specific, what will create more jobs, an infrastructure program, or something that would put money back in the private sector, no matter how we ask it, the private sector solutions are always preferred. And when we ask individuals about their own benefits, they're not being selfish in any way. 3 years ago, the President of the United States offered every senior a $250 bonus because they didn't get a cost of living adjustment on their Social Security. A majority of senior citizens, the people who were supposed to get that benefit, a majority of seniors opposed it. Earlier this year, we polled on people who were behind on their mortgage, and a majority of them did not want federal assistance to help pay their mortgage. These people are not looking for the government to bail them out, but they don't want to be the only ones. They want to make sure that everybody takes part as we rearrange the relationship between the American people and their government. And to do that requires leadership and trust. And right now there is absolutely no trust in our government. A majority of voters believe their own representatives in Congress, their own representative, trades votes for cash. It's not somebody else they see as the problem, it's their own guy. Now, when we start talking about leadership and change, at this point in time, it all comes back to a presidential election. And in this election, it remained way too close to call. I'll give you the national numbers first, then I'll talk about the state numbers, and then talk about where it goes from here. When we call people across the country right now, we ask them, who are you going to vote for? 47% over the last 3 nights say Mitt Romney. 47% say Barack Obama. Of that group, a very small share say they might change their mind. Obama supporters are a little bit less committed to their candidate than Romney supporters, but still very close. That means 6% of voters are going to determine this election.